People see at face level, but they don't know behind the scenes your tears that you shed. When you don't have finance, sometimes I wouldn't have food to buy, but people saw me on TV. So for me, it was like, God, what is this all about? And then God brought me back to say that I say to you that I'm keeping you humble, because the moment you as a worshiper, as an artist, exalt yourself, there's no place for me. My name is Hanekam, and I'm all the way from South Africa. I'm so excited to be in Nairobi, Kenya. It's my first time, and I hope that I'm a blessing to the people of God out there. Thank you for welcoming me. I feel so welcome, and I know that I'm going to have an awesome time on this interview. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome, and we love guests, and Kenyans are hospitable people who love welcoming guests. We love tourists. We love people who come to visit our country. And now that you've come as a minister of the word and a minister of the word through music, yes, you're so welcome, and we love seeing you here. So a little bit of yourself. We'd like to know who you are, where you're born, and where you brought up, your foundations in faith, things like that.
So I give God all the glory, first of all, because if it had not been for His grace, I was not going to be here. Mm-hmm. And I always say that, we are obviously celebrating the Easter season, and just recognizing the blood of Jesus, and because of that blood, I'm here today, mm-hmm, all the way from South Africa. So I was born and raised in Cape Town. Mm-hmm. It's a place in South Africa which people would recognize as being dominated with a crime, associated with crime and gangsterism. But, through all of that and growing in that neighborhood, God preserved me, because my parents were God-fearing people, and they groomed me in the church. That's how I fell in love with just the praise and worship. Mm-hmm. I grew up there, and my family they believed in singing. They believe in music. So every Friday we would have the church coming to our house, and our family just sitting around the table as a family, playing the guitar, and I would sing as a small girl growing up. And I fell in love with God, and I gave my life to Jesus at a young age. But I didn't know there's still a journey ahead of me that was going to be filled with, obviously, trials and all of that. But mm-hmm, it grew me. And I grew up in the church. That's where my music started. I was part of the junior choir. Also at school, I was part of the school choir. And I really grew. And that's where I saw God can use my gift, and that is where I recognized that there's something about my singing. And I said to my mom, I just want to sing. I just want to sing for God. I just want to stand on a stage and sing. And I then, went to music school after matriculating. After being in matric, I matriculated, and I went to music school where they trained my voice. And then I also learned how to be on stage, how to present myself on stage. And life happened. And then I decided not to sing anymore, because mm-hmm, sometimes you get tired, because when you grow up, you have all of these dreams and these goals, and then something happens and you kind of get discouraged. And you automatically just say, I don't want to do this anymore. Mm-hmm. Let me just be normal. And that is when you've got a calling on your life, but because there's trials, you make up your mind that this is not meant for me. Mm-hmm. But it's a process that God is taking you through in order for you to get to your purpose. Mm-hmm. So I had to go through that process, and then a competition came in South Africa called I Want to Sing Gospel. It was a gospel competition in South Africa, which was broadcasted on a TV channel called SABC2. And then my sister entered me, because at that time I didn't want to sing anymore. So she entered me into the competition, not telling me. And then she told me, I entered you into this competition. I'm like, I'm not going. I don't want to sing anymore. And then I ended up going. And I made it through. Mm-hmm. And I became the top 3 I became the second runner-up in the whole of South Africa for the top 30. And that is where my journey started, mm-hmm, with Joy Celebration. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I it was just amazing traveling with Joyous Celebration, and that is how I got into the music industry. And from there, it was just amazing because I got to understand the industry, the good side and the bad side, and what I needed to keep me going in that journey. So Joy Celebration was an amazing platform for me. I thank God for that platform because it allowed me to travel the world. It exposed me to a bigger market. I could be myself. I could worship God the way I received it in church. And I realized that it was not me, but it was the gift in me. It wasn't my vocal ability, but it was the anointing on my life. It was my praise of my parents that brought me there. And I kept on remembering where I came from. And that is what kept me going, because it's so easy to get distracted when you're on a big stage like that. And that is where God favored me even more to release my first debut album, which was then nominated for a South African Music Award. And it exposed me to even a bigger platform to see a lot of celebrities and artists within the secular world and the gospel. And that is where I saw that this is something God has called me. And I've got an assignment and I've got a mission to use my gift to change the kingdom for God. Yes.
That's awesome. And it sounds like just like a smooth journey. I don't know what what are the challenges that you've encountered there in between, because someone listening to us right now might think that you just woke up and found yourself everything falling into place, from Joyous Celebration to your debut album, to awards, to traveling the world. What has been what is the pain side of your journey?
Wow, that is a powerful question, because like you were saying, the struggle that we as worshippers experience is loneliness. Because once you are called and once you know that you have an assignment, it becomes lonely, because people don't understand what you're carrying. And once you start operating in that gift, the world becomes different for you. My life changed when I joined Joyous, not just in a good way, but what people don't see. People see at face level, but they don't know behind the scenes your tears that you shed. When you don't have finance. I was in Joy Celebration, but I still couldn't afford certain things. I didn't have the house. I didn't have the car. I was still using your walking to the church, whatever, and sometimes I wouldn't have food to buy. But people saw me on TV. So for me, it was like, God, what is this all about? And then God brought me back to say that I say to you that I'm keeping you humble, because the moment you as a worshiper, as an artist, exalt yourself, there's no place for me. You have literally shut me out. But I'm the one that brought you here. So my pain through being lonely, and my pain through rejection, as well as friends failing me, or once you become. So when I joined Joyous Celebration, now people started knowing me. And when you have friends, or when you have people that love you, sometimes they won't understand, and then you can't talk to them as you used to talk to them, and they take that as, oh, so you don't want anything to do with us anymore. But it was not like that. It's now my focus has shifted. So what I can say is, through that whole process, is that when God lifts you up, your surroundings change. The people that you fellowship changes. And if those people cannot go with you where you are going, then unfortunately you have to let them go.
It's true.
Because they will just drag you down, and they will discourage you, because they don't understand at that time what God is doing. So I had to let go of a lot of people that I love, not necessarily not talking to them, but just moving. I had to move forward, and I had to now shift my focus into what God wanted me to do at that specific time. And I only did that because I knew that it was gonna push me, and I was growing in that sense. Yeah,
that's awesome. And you told us that after being in Joyous Celebration, you shifted to having your own album, and the one that was nominated. Can you please give us a bit of the process and the making, and how the personal experience? You've been singing as a team, and now you're here doing your own album. How was it? How was the experience?
So it was a transition. It was a process.
Sure.
I was speaking to the team that's hosting me. Yeah, we were having lunch when I came. And I told Pastor Osori, I said to him, when I got to Joy Celebration, when I got into the industry, I was not yet fully prepared. If I say fully prepared, I mean spiritually. So it was all about me now, focusing on my voice and what I need to do. And God exposed me one time on stage where I was singing and people were just literally sitting like this. They were not responding. And I'm like, what's happening, God? Because my focus was on the people and not on God. That is why I got disappointed. I went backstage and I cried. I think for 20 minutes, I just kept on weeping and weeping. And I'm like, but what is this? Were they not happy with how I danced? Because I was going crazy on stage. I was jumping and I was doing the thing. And people were just sitting like this. And that is where I realized it's not about me.
It's about God.
It's about God.
We are coming to you live from Nairobi, Kenya. Oh, I say South Africa because we have one of us here from Cape Town, and you know Cape Town is somehow, yeah. There's a way I love Cape Town, Johannesburg, and Cape Town is a bit posh, yeah. Thank you, my director, Maureen. I wanted to say exactly that. And there's a way many of us would love to come to South Africa, especially Cape Town, Johannesburg, and we try to see a real thing there. So, Charisma, you've been here for the last a few days, maybe 4 days or so?
Yeah.
And how is Kenya to you? According to you, what do you see here?
Can't you see? I even did my hair, guys. Yo, I am now Kenyan, eh?
I wanted to ask whether these cornrows are from South Africa or they were done here.
It's done here.
Awesome. So at least you have a signature.
Yes.
And at least you've been able to interact with us. And I believe that by reason of you coming, this being your very first time, you're going to be coming here again and again and again. You told us about the exposure you got from the previous group, Joy Celebration.
Yes.
Which nations were you able to travel with them?
Wow, that's a mouthful for me to answer, but I'll try my best, eh?
Yes, try.
So, God has been so good, Lady Anne. I can't explain to you. When I think about it, I get emotional because when I was growing up, a girl from a place where there's no future for the youth, you feel like you will never get anywhere.
It's true.
But the moment I started traveling around the world, so my first trip was to the States, to Chicago, to 5 states, and I traveled with the church before I went with Joy Celebration. With Joy Celebration, I traveled the whole of South Africa. The whole of South Africa. I went to Zimbabwe, I went to Botswana, we went to Namibia, we went to Swaziland, we went to, I went to Ghana. So I've been traveling, and everywhere I go, Lady, and there's always something new that I learn. There's always something new that God shows me. There's always, the people are just different, and the atmosphere, environments are just different. And the anointing is just in every province, every country. There's just something different about every country. Even coming to Kenya, my first time, I even told the something different happened to me coming to Kenya in the plane. I felt God. Wherever I traveled, I've never had an encounter in the aeroplane. Never. Where I'm sitting and literally from flying from Kigali to Kenya, God gave me 2 songs that I was singing. It says, God, we love you, Lord. And the other one is, I have decided to follow Jesus. And it just came to me. And while I'm singing it, I could feel there was a shift happening. And I told Pastor, there's a shift that happened while me traveling to Kenya. And God has already shifted something in Kenya. And for me to be here at this time is a proven factor that something changed in the atmosphere within Kenya and in Nairobi and in the people hearts of God. And I say to them that if there's a revival God is gonna do, it's gonna happen in Africa, and I want to be part of that.
Amen.
So I'm just I can't explain to you.
Explain it. It's so awesome, and also to learn that. Do you have people who are learning under you, or maybe you're mentoring, and maybe you're guiding and telling them? And I don't know whether you, according to how you came into the music ministry, I don't think you got an opportunity to make a mistake.
I made a lot of mistakes.
You did?
So I mean, if you can't embrace your mistakes, you will never grow.
Sure.
We are human. We make mistakes, but you move forward. You move forward and you learn from that and you build on that. There must be building bricks for you. Every mistake you make. So I am all for impact. My passion is to impact the next generation. So currently, what I'm busy with is I'm with an organization. It's called The Village in South Africa. It's called TVE. It's the Village Entrepreneurship. So what we do is we get entrepreneurs from Africa. We have entrepreneurs from Botswana, from Zimbabwe, from Swaziland, from Ghana, from Nigeria, and from Kenya. And we are planning to come to Kenya. What we do is we teach them the business side of things. So, for instance, we have people in the industry of music. We don't teach them vocal training. We don't give them vocal training. We teach them the business of music, because I feel like if we can give them knowledge and give them a tool to say that this worked for me, it might just work for you if you try it this way. Because I've seen with the industry, in the music industry, we come to a certain point and then we stop and then we give up. Because why? We don't have the tools, the nuggets that I could have shared with someone as a worshiper. So I'm working with the village. We have a product called TVBE. It's the Village Boardroom Experience, where we bring all of those entrepreneurs from those countries, from Kenya, from Namibia, from Ghana to South Africa, and they all come together, 200 entrepreneurs, and they've been putting into groups. So now I meet you from Kenya. I'm an entrepreneur from South Africa. I meet you from Kenya. There's a collaboration happening. There's a partnership happening. And you cannot, there's no way you won't be able to grow within your industry. So that is where I am, and that is the impact that we are making in South Africa. And obviously our chairman, Mr. Kambasha, he's the one that brought about the vision. So what he's trying to do, he's bringing the kingdom into the business sector. So he's saying, you are a businesswoman, but if you build your business on God, there's no way that it can crumble, because your foundation has been laid. So we teach them. We have pastors also coming on board, traveling all the world to teach them not just the kingdom, but the business side of the kingdom and how you can actually grow the church of God.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yes.
And personally, as Charisma, maybe you tell us about your vision. Maybe you've been able to travel to many nations, and you've been able to interact with many music ministers. And I don't know whether you personally have a vision to maybe change some things in the music industry, other than the entrepreneurship side, maybe in the spiritual side, the kingdom side. Have you identified anything that you can be able to impact on your fellow ministers? Maybe you can have a forum whereby they can talk. I don't know what kind of an idea you have personally.
I'm so excited when I start talking about my vision, because God says, without a vision, without knowledge, my people perish for lack of knowledge.
Yes.
But you must write your vision down. I've been writing my vision down. I know exactly what I want. And I want to fund my own vision. I want to fund my own project, and it's going to take a process. So my vision is so huge, and I thank God, because it's a God-given vision. I'm not going to share it because they must be very careful.
Sure.
But it's global. It's bringing Africa, even America, together on one platform, on one project, with different various languages, but true worship that it's a sound that if you listen to it, you know it's from God. And then also I have a team that I work with. I have an amazing team that's in South Africa that I work with, that we are doing outreaches. So what we do is we don't just go and sing for the people in the community, but we also go with something. So my passion is for single moms. It's for abused women and children, women that have been through so much and they are still going through it. So I don't just want to go and minister to them and bless them spiritually, but also want to put something in their hand and say, here's something, here's food, here's something, that here's a blanket, or here's toiletries for a young girl, you know, take this. And that is what I'm currently busy with, is to reach out to my community where I come from, because if it wasn't for my community, I was not going to be here.
Sure.
You know, if it wasn't for that neighbor, that auntie, that uncle that kept their eye on me, I was not going to be here today. So that is my passion, and that is where I'm going. So I'm excited for that.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. After that debut album that you did, have you done anything else after that, or are you planning to do another album?
No, I did another album. I'm doing another one this year, so they must look out for that. But I did an EP. I went through a very dark time in my life. I lost everything, from my house to my car. I was literally on the street, and the only thing that I could do was worship God. And the scripture that came to me was, I will lift up my eyes to the hills from which cometh my help. And the chorus just said, I worship you, Lord. So I released that in the studio in 2015 under my company. And from there, I did a music video. It's online. And now I'm working on a live project. Yeah, very intimate live project.
Yes, and behind the scenes we talked, and I got to know that basically you focus a lot on live music. And I was actually teasing you, asking you that you have anything playback.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and you got to tell me that you've only focused on mainly on live projects, live worship, live ministration. Yes. I believe it's a bit different here, and you're gonna experience even musicians who are maybe capable of doing live music, but they still have done playbacks.
Yes.
What's the great difference, like back home in South Africa? I believe in South Africa, live music is actually on a very high level, right. And so many even upcoming musicians, you train them live music way.
Yes.
It's a bit different here, and I don't know whether you've gotten to at least do some your own research about our music here.
Yeah.
And if there's anything you can comment about it.
No, it's important. I love what you're mentioning, because we are evolving.
Sure.
And as an artist, you must always keep you up to date with everything that's happening within the music industry. And we are going into a digital world right now, where, you know, when you want to do a live performance, not everyone's going to come because of the pandemic that we went through. So a lot of people are focusing now on production within the studio, and then putting it out there on the digital platforms, because people won't go and buy a CD anymore, or people won't go attend shows. You understand? So my research that I've done is basically to say that, what is my target market? What is my genre? What is my sound? What is the outcome that I want to achieve? If I go into studio, if I do a project there, is it going to be a full album? Will people then buy my album? You know, do they know me? Did I do a lot of promotions out there? Did I go to places, networking, collaborations with big artists? So for me, you know, if you really want to grow as an artist, don't just focus on your live performances, but focus more on production. That is if you want to become professional and you're looking to making it a career. Because what I've learned is that, you know, with collaboration and partnerships, if I collaborate with yourself, I already have the Kenyan market. If you collaborate with me, you've already got the South African market, because my market is in South Africa and your market is in Kenya. So it's all about understanding that, you know, it starts with you understanding, are you better in live singing, or are you better with studio? Because some people, when they're in studio, they feel limited. But if you're live, you feel free. You feel like you can be yourself. You can worship God. So for me, I prefer live, because I feel more free, and I can dance and go crazy. But with a studio, I am limited to that one space, and I have to focus on how I sound, because, hey, You will hear things in studio when you don't hear necessarily live, but you have to be disciplined within the studio.
Sure.
But it's all about understanding what works for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's profound, and thank you so much for that comment. And I think even the artists or the music ministers who are watching us right now, it's good you understand yourself. It's good you know what is best with you. And when you know that, you're going to be able to deliver. You're going to be able to be who you are and who God has called you to be.
Amen.
In your ministry.